Hi, I'm Christy. Today I want to talk about supporting our loved ones with physical disabilities. The first category of disability I want to look at is physical disabilities. When I think of physical disability, I think of a body part that doesn't function the way it was designed to function. According to the CDC, quote, a disability is any condition of the body or mind, impairment, that makes it more difficult for the person with the condition to do certain activities, activity or limitation, and interact with the world around them, participation restrictions, end quote. The same article goes on to say that, quote, according to the World Health Organization, disability has three dimensions. One, impairment in a person's body, structure, or function, or mental functioning. Examples of impairment include loss of limb, loss of vision, or memory loss. Two, activity limitation, such as difficulty seeing, hearing, walking, or problem solving. And three, participation restrictions in normal daily activities, such as working, engaging in social and recreational activities, and obtaining health care and preventive services, end quote. Now, you can find a link to that CDC page over on the blog. That's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in January of 2023. When considering physical disabilities specifically, Care Home defines it this way. Quote, a physical disability is a substantial and long-term condition affecting a part of a person's body that impairs and limits their physical functioning, mobility, stamina, or dexterity, end quote. And again, I've got a link to that post over on the blog. So according to these definitions, I'm not too far off. Physical disabilities impact daily life because some part of the body doesn't function at full capacity or doesn't have the same stamina or functioning as typical individuals experience. I also appreciate what Care Home goes on to say later in their post. Quote, it is important to note that defining physical disability is not about the physical condition itself, but how it impacts daily life, such as the ability to carry out work activities, end quote. It's also important to note that two individuals with the same disability can be impacted differently. While a complete list of physical disabilities is nearly impossible to complete, the above-linked Care Home article lists two broad categories of physical disability. First is musculoskeletal disability. This is when something affects the joints, bones, and or muscles. Examples include osteogenesis imperfecta, muscular dystrophy, back and neck pain, osteoarthritis, and rheumatoid arthritis. The second category is neuromusculoskeletal disability. This is the inability to move a body part because of disease, degeneration, or a disorder of the nervous system. Examples include cerebral palsy, spina bifida, stroke, spinal cord injury, head injury, multiple sclerosis, and polio. Personally, I broaden things a bit and generalize a bit more. To me, anything that prevents a person from normal movement or usage of a part of their physical body qualifies as a physical disability. I would include deaf or hard of hearing and visual impairment or blindness in the physical category. Here's the reality, though. People and organizations define things differently, and different countries define disability in different ways. I've not been able to find a worldwide definition of any kind of disability that applies to every country or organization. That said, there is a lot of overlap and agreement on overall categories and what falls into many of those categories. Individuals with physical disabilities often require support, accommodations, and or modifications that typical individuals do not need to function. The scope and type of support required will vary from individual to individual, even if the disability is the same for both individuals. While not an exhaustive list, some types of support include devices like assistive technology, hearing aids, communication devices, aids like people to help or support animals, accommodations, accessibility to a room or building, more time to complete a project, or more time to answer questions, and modifications, a different chair or desk to meet their needs, or adjusting requirements, those kinds of things. Again, the list could go on, but I think you get the idea. The key is that once the individual is assisted or supported in the way that allows them to participate in the activity to the best of their ability, they're able to participate in activities without further assistance. Because they have full mental capacity, they can reason, think, and process like a typical person. They're able to carry on many of the typical activities of a peer once their physical limitations are addressed. For example, A student with a physical disability may need an elevator to change floors, but is able to fully participate in mainstream classes without further modifications or accommodations. An adult may be able to hold down a job once they have access to the same resources. Maybe they need a different desk, chair, or computer. But once they have those items, they can complete job assignments the same as anyone else working in that position. Or maybe someone has trouble hearing conversations. Microphones or amplified sounds or screen subtext may be all they need to follow conversations and participate fully in a meeting. The most important thing to remember when someone has a physical disability is that they have the same understanding their peers do. A part of their body doesn't function in the usual way. Their minds do. So this means that they fully understand what's going on around them. They have the same desires as anyone else their age. They are just as capable as anyone else their age. But they need assistance to help their body accomplish everyday tasks. Physical disabilities are challenging. They complicate life. But then everybody has things that challenge and complicate life for them. Treating someone with a physical disability as typically as possible while assisting them when necessary shows respect and acceptance. Most people are happy when those things are met. So my question for you this week is this. Do you know someone who has a physical disability? How does it impact their daily life? I'd love to hear about your life. You can leave me a comment below, or you can leave me a comment over on the blog. Again, that's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in January of 2023. If you prefer, you can always email me at Christy, CHRISTY, at havenofhopeforme.com. I'm reassessing how I interact with individuals with physical disabilities so that I can continue to say that life is good and there is never a dull moment.